Hey everyone, it's Danielle here from Evelyn and Sage Avenue, sharing another design team project for the Graphics Fairy Premium website. I'm really excited to share these 3 bundles with you guys. You may be wondering what's going on here. These aren't the journal covers, these are separate little packs that come along with the journals. Before I open these up, I just want to talk a little bit about what inspired the theme for these journals. So it was actually 2 Graphics Fairy bundles, one being Little Women, which is where these main ladies are from, and the other being The Artist, which is another bundle. These focal images in their centre are my favourite element, so I really wanted to make them stand out and make them the highlight of the cover. So everything else is pretty simple, but I digitally collaged these images together because my favourite thing to create is cabinet cards, like faux cabinet cards. So I digitally just collaged the cabinet card frame with the Little Women images. I've done 3 of those using different frames from various bundles. So they have a wide selection of cabinet card frames, whether they be separate frames where the inside is empty, or actual images with portraits in the middle. All of these frames actually did have an image in the middle. I just digitally added these images on top of them and printed them out. If you weren't able to make your own digital collage, they've got loads to choose from. So for instance, they've got an antique portraits bundle. They've actually got 2 of them. This is just some of the image from bundle 2, and you can see the really gorgeous frames that come along with them. So even if you couldn't digitally collage them, you could quite easily print these frames out, print a separate image out, and just stick it on top. And then on the Graphics Fairy, they also have tutorials. So Jack Ravi has got a wonderful tutorial about how to age photographs, so you could apply that technique to a cabinet card also. They've also got a bundle called Instant Ancestors, and that's got an array of images similar to this as well, with cabinet cards. And also, if you're looking for a little bit more colour, this is a Vintage Ballerinas printable. It does actually print out like this, so you've got a lovely selection of sizes, and I just think these would be gorgeous as well on the front. If you were to want to create something similar to this, these are already pre-made for you and they're just gorgeous. So just a quick overview of the miniature one that will be available to win over on my Patreon. Created exactly the same, very similar insides as well. I just thought I'd give you a little peek at that one too, because it's a really cute size. Right, without further ado, let's open these up. So as I said, they are quite similar inside, but I will give you a brief overview of all of them. So the main differences are the covers that I've used, and obviously the cover imagery. Every other element is more or less very similar. They've all got the same pages inside. They might be in different orders, but they are all the same. So let's start with this one. This is one of the larger ones. I've got 2 large and 1 medium, and obviously the smaller one we've just seen will be available on my Patreon to win. This one, she's the blue. I've used corresponding colours for the binding on each one. As you can see, I've got the green there and the purple on the other one. I've bound these using a technique I took a course on. I'll link the course below if you are interested, but I used it at my very first Graphics Fairy design team projects, and this is it must have been a year later, I've used it again and I just love it. So these are vintage rulers. I've used the same ruler on each. I've just broke it apart and used it on each one. I've just used really simple binding, but this has actually got a little bit of a story behind it. So this is actually a faux leather belt remnant. This is from my partner's belt that he has held on to for dear life for 7 years, and it finally fell apart. But it fell apart in 3 pieces, just as how I was finishing up these journals. And like, he just held them out to me just to show me how tattered this belt was, and that it's finally give up the ghost. And us journal makers tend to see things differently, so I was like, oh, I'll have those, I can make use of them. And I made use of them straight away because I've used them as binding. And I've just added the nameplates to them that have been rusted with some removable vintage tape, so you can put your name or something in there yourselves. I've left them blank for you to do that. So I've just done some layering with some mostly vintage pieces, if not all, on the front. And I've used wire to bind this distress paintbrush that I distressed myself. So these were new paintbrushes that I've artsied up myself. So the cover base is different on all of them. They've been created from various different things. This one was actually a giant postcard that I've just cut in half and I've used as the front and back. This pattern here is actually from a relatively new bundle called, I think it's the Ballet Kit, I think. And I've just adjusted the colour to go along with these journals, but it's actually a really gorgeous bright pink. This wallpaper print, and it's really lovely. I actually can't wait to use the pink version in something else. This is the Graphics Fairy Digital, and obviously just mixed with some vintage pieces. This is a file folder, some watercolour paper. This is some vintage graph paper. So as you can see, they are a blank canvas, and that was intentional. So this is a Graphics Fairy image. This is a Graphics Fairy book background from, I think this is from the Masculine Elements kit. And it's just really lovely texture to work on. Some of these would be really nice with some gesso over them. You could do some mark making in the background. I just think they're a really lovely canvas to kind of get creative. So they have 3 signatures. The 2 signatures are pages, and then the middle signature is actually a fabric pocket that I've created from various vintage cloth pieces, and I've added a little extra pocket. So there's a small pocket here, and this is actually one large pocket. So this is the pockets the size of the page. And that's just, maybe you could keep some art supplies in there, some paintbrushes, pens and stuff. I think that was the general idea for that one. So that's the centre signature in all of them. So, and then you've got 2 signatures with pages. This is the same Graphics Fairy image from the Masculine Elements kit. I've just adjusted the colour on this one to make it brown. And there's some florist film here, some florist cellophane, and I just thought that was a really nice element. Maybe you could add some gesso to it, or just use it as a layering piece on this background page. This is another Graphics Fairy image. I just thought it was a really nice neutral, some neutral script, which I have loads of to choose from. So these will be listed in colours, so I'm just going to call her the blue lady. This will be the green lady, and you'll have the purple lady as well on the listings. These will be available at the time this video is posted. I'm just going to put the other 2 to music, and then I'll jump back in to discuss the bundles with you. I've used some more Graphics Fairy premium images that we've got access to as design team members for the bundles. Now, I really love these bundles, they kind of really pull the theme together. Each flower will correspond with the cover image, so I've tried to match them up colour wise. I'm only going to open up one of these because again they're quite similar. So I'm going to open the rose one. I've created some handmade mark making materials. So in the bundles you'll each get a set of handmade mark making materials or tools. If you're not familiar with mark making, these natural tools, so they're made from natural fibres. This is driftwood, this is coconut hair, if you'd call it that, and I've also made a driftwood pencil, which this probably wouldn't necessarily be used as a pencil, but you could dip it in ink and make some marks. So these are some flowers I dried myself. As well as it being just a pretty element to include, I thought you could create some really interesting marks with these as well, dipped in ink and pressed on your pages. I think that's another tool in which to use to create some interesting elements. So to bind this little bundle, this is one of the first images that I downloaded from the Graphics Fairy in order to use with these journals. I just think it's really pretty. So this is another cabinet card, one of the landscape ones, which I really love, and it's got this gorgeous image of this girl using an easel. They've actually recently came out with a new bundle. I think it's like lunar themed. Forgive me, I don't know what it's called, but I'll list it below. And they've got some really cute images of girls sitting on moons and things, so they'd also be really lovely to use as journal closures too. I've also made this faux quill. I say faux, I'm not sure how well it will work as a calligraphy pen, but they definitely would make some interesting marks if you did dip it in ink anyhow. So each bundle will come with these two tags, which are made from Graphics Fairy images. I think this is from the artist bundle. This image at the back is from the author kit. And this is vintage lining paper. I've embossed some of it because I thought it embosses beautifully, so I've just included you a nice size sheet in there for you to have an experiment with. And it also takes watercolour really lovely, as you'll see as we get into these bundles. This print is from the Autumn Wallpapers kit. So each bundle will have a swatch tag, which has been created with, I think this is also from the artist bundle, but they've got various swatched A4 pages, and I've used the relevant colours for each. So this one's purple, one will be blue and one will be green for the other one. And just to go along with it, I've used that vintage lining paper and some Winsor & Newton watercolours to create a little swatch, which I thought was really pretty. And a glassine bag that I've also created using the Tattered Papers bundle that they've got available. So some photographs, each come with 2 photographs, obviously they'll all be different in each. And some vintage tape pieces, each will get 4 different kinds of tape. Just a quick look at the flowers that will come with each pack. So this one's the blue cover, this is the blue hydrangea, and I've got a yellow dried rose which will correspond with the green cover, and obviously your deep pink for the purple. I'd just like to thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you've found some inspiration, and head over to the Graphics Fairy Premium website to have access to all of the bundles I've used today. I'll see you guys again soon, and thank you for watching. Take care.